This is a very important tutorial to watch if you have a job interview coming up very soon. So in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you the easiest way to answer the most difficult interview questions. And those questions are called behavioral interview questions. The type of questions where the hiring manager says to you, tell me about a time you provided excellent customer service. Tell me about a challenge you had to overcome at work. Tell me about a time you worked in a team. And also tell me about a time when you disagreed with your boss. So if you have a job interview coming up soon for any role or company, make sure you stay tuned because I promise to help you pass at the very first attempt. And to achieve that goal, this is what I will cover during this tutorial. So I will teach you the easiest and fastest way to answer behavioral interview questions. I will also give you 2 very important tips for answering behavioral interview questions to get the highest scores possible. I am then going to give you a top scoring example quick answer to each of the 21 most common behavioral interview questions. And then finally, I will tell you where you can instantly download these slides and the full set of 21 brilliant answers. So lots of reasons why you should stay tuned if you have a job interview coming up soon. And just very quickly, okay, let's get started with 2 very important tips for answering behavioral interview questions. Tip number 1, in your answer, make sure you refer to a specific situation you've previously been in. What do I mean by that? Well, the interviewer wants to hear about a specific situation you have been in that demonstrates your competence in the scenario being assessed. The next important element of this tip is, in your response, make sure you give details about what you actually did. Now, some people complain that they've never been in the situation before and they therefore cannot answer the question. So if you haven't been in the situation before, my advice is to describe a scenario where you witness someone else doing it, because this shows observational skills. What do I mean by that? Well, let me give you an example answer to a common behavioral interview question. So the question is, tell me about a time you provided excellent customer service. Let's assume you've never been in that situation before. Here's what to say. Although I haven't yet been in that situation, I do know how to provide excellent customer service because I have witnessed others give it. For example, I recently stayed at a hotel with my partner and the service was outstanding. We were immediately welcomed by the hotel reception team. Our bags were taken to our room. We were given complimentary drinks and refreshments, and they contacted us 30 minutes after our arrival to check everything was to our satisfaction. Now, whenever we contacted reception, they answered the phone promptly, politely and professionally, and nothing was too much trouble. I understand how important great customer service is to your business, and I'm confident I can provide it to your customers in this role and make them feel special so they use the business again in the future. That is the way to answer behavioral interview in the scenario before. So let's now move on to tip number 2 before I give you those 21 brilliant quick answers to difficult behavioral interview questions. Tip number 2 is make sure you use the STAR technique to structure your answers to the behavioral interview questions. Let me quickly tell you what the STAR technique is. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. And it's an easy thing to remember when you are answering any type of behavioral interview question. So you start off your answer and you tell the interviewer the situation you were faced with. You then move on and briefly outline the task that needed doing, the task that needed your attention. You then give in-depth details about the action you took to achieve the task. And this is where you tell the interviewer what you did. And then you finish off and you tell the interviewer the results following your actions. And another important tip is to make sure the result is always a positive one following your actions. And you will notice in a second when I give you these 21 quick answers to behavioral interview questions that all of the responses finish on a positive note. That is really important. Okay, let's now start working through these quick answers, these easy to remember answers to the 21 most common behavioral interview questions. And the first one is, tell me about a time you provided excellent customer service. Here's my example answer that uses a STAR technique. A customer called our business to inquire about a product we had available. They arranged to come to the company the following day to view the product. My task was to provide them with excellent service when they arrived. As soon as I got off the phone, I learned as much about the product as possible so I could answer any questions they had. When the customer arrived the following day, I made them feel welcome, asked questions to establish their needs, and explained everything I knew about the product and its benefits. I then answered any questions they had in detail. Now, the customer thanked me for my patience and the information I provided before buying the product. So that's a really good, easy to remember answer that shows a situation where you provided excellent customer service. Let me now give you the answer, the quick answer to behavioral interview question number 2. Tell me about a time you worked in a team. This is a common question that comes up all the time during all types of job interviews. Here's my example answer. My manager asked the team I was a part of to come up with ideas to help promote a new company product. It was our task to work closely as part of a team to create a list of solid ideas to ensure the product launch was successful. We decided to hold a team meeting and each took turns to put forward ideas while the rest of the team listened and took notes. I suggested we market the product online, and others in the group suggested promoting it to our customer database, offering a discount. At the end of the meeting, we had 5 great ideas which we presented to our manager. He agreed to implement all the ideas, resulting in record sales for the new product launch. That's another really good answer. A quick answer to one of the most common behavioral interview questions. Now, don't go anywhere because I still have 19 more behavioral interview questions and answers to give you. But when you're ready, you can click that link in the top right-hand corner of the video and you can head through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can instantly download these slides and my full set of 21 quick top scoring answers to the most common behavioral interview questions as a PDF guide. Here's the next question. Tell me about a challenge you had to overcome. Here's my example answer that uses a STAR technique. Here we go. I worked on a critical, time-sensitive team project in my previous role. A technical team member went off sick 3 days before the project deadline. It was my task to find a way to still get the project finished despite being one team member down. I assessed the outstanding workload and allocated some tasks to the remaining team members based on their strengths. Now, for the technical related functions, I found an online contractor qualified to do the work remotely. By thinking outside the box and acting quickly, I overcame this challenge and completed the project on time and to the required standard. You can see how these answers are going to impress any hiring manager. They're really good answers. Here's question 4. Tell me about a time you failed. This is a difficult one because the majority of candidates respond by saying, I've never failed. That is not the way to answer this question. This is about how you react to failure. Are you positive? Do you take it upon yourself to improve? Here's my example response. Tell me about a time you failed. When I started my first job, I undertook an internal training course, including an exam. Now, my task was to partake in the course and achieve a pass mark of 75%. Now, unfortunately, because I thought I knew the subject very well, I did not study hard enough for the exam and I ended up just failing. I was very disappointed in myself, and after apologizing to my supervisor, I studied hard and gained a 97% pass on the retake. I learned a tremendous amount from that experience, and I now prepare thoroughly for every situation, task or project I am responsible for. You can see that ends on a really positive note. You take responsibility for your failure and you improve. That's the most important thing when answering that common behavioral interview question. Tell me about a time you failed.